Welcome to part 6 of this series. This is the final video in this series, and I'm super excited about this one because we are finally going to be debugging the plugin and exporting it and watching all of our hard work in action. Now, beforehand, I will just simply state that I did go through and I did look at some of the bigger bugs that are causing it to not work, and I figured out what was wrong just so I'm not mumbling through the video and trying to figure it out, because I tend to do that for a while and then get distracted and so on and so forth. Anyways, I removed all that code, so it should be exactly how it was in the last video, so we can just go ahead and start debugging. Anyways, let's go ahead and export the plugin, because this is exactly what you would be doing now, because we think we're ready. So just go ahead and hit finish, and export it with warning. That's totally fine. It's saying that just because this variable is never used, and we're totally cool with that. Go to where you export it to now, and go ahead and grab this and put it over here, and then we'll go ahead and start the server up. And if we go into the plugins directory, we can see that it has generated an auto message example folder, and if we go and open the config, we can see that it has generated the config file for it also. Now let's go ahead and log into the server just like that. Now there is one issue, obviously. We don't see any messages. If we look in the console, there's nothing being broadcasted. There's nothing being broadcasted in the server. So what the heck's happening? Well, I don't know. Let's go ahead and find out. So this is the debugging part. If we go back to the code, let's make sure that these enabled lists are actually there in the first place. So we'll just sys out shortcut control space list.getName. And what else is being called here? So there's a new message task instance being made here. So this got to be something else in message task too. We could check, just do this all at once. Let's see if this run method's even being called in the first place. Let's see if something else is wrong. Let's go ahead and just make a simple one, because we don't really need anything else. And maybe this if statement is causing some problems. So we'll go ahead and check to make sure it gets through all these if statements properly. And we can skip through the for loop, because we should know if there's something wrong with that. And there we go. So you want to take note that we did stop at the number 4. Alright, and now we export again, and then put this into your plugins directory and replace it, and then go back to your start and start it up, and then rejoin, or actually we don't even need to rejoin the server. If you look here, 1212, it is getting to 2. And by the way, it happens twice because there's 2 message lists being created, that being the default list and the VIP list. And we can see that here. It outputted the VIP and the default list in the console right there. But remember, we stopped at 4. What happened? There should be go down to 4. So if we go back to the code, we can see that this statement here is causing an issue. And so if the current time is greater than the list time, it'll return. Well, that seems perfectly fine at first, but then if we go to the expiry, it's -1. So of course the system time is going to be greater than that. So we need to add a check. So if the system time is greater than the expiry and the list.getExpiry is greater than or equal to 1. If it's greater than 0, basically, it'll broadcast the message. So now export again and drag and drop into your plugins folder. And now we're going to reload the server. Just like that. Now we have 1234, 1234. Well, that's cool. That seems like it'd be working. So let's go into the game and see. Well, of course, we need to wait for another broadcast. And there we go. We see the messages have been broadcasted. Now, it broadcasts them immediately because we didn't set a delay. We can set a delay, and I think that's what we will be doing. Just so it broadcasts not as soon as it starts, maybe a little bit afterwards. Just for fun. Just to show you guys. So, it's working. Now, I am OP on the server, so that means that I have all the permissions. Now, if we were to give myself just automessage.receive the list name, if we negated that from my group, then I wouldn't receive the message. Or if I gave it to another group that didn't have it, then they would receive the message. Simple as that. So now we can go ahead and remove all the debugging printouts. So let's just get rid of those. Okay, so now that that is done, we can go ahead and add that delay. We can always add this to the config, and this is another system print line that we don't need. We can add the delay. The delay is here, and if you remember, it is in ticks. So let's just go ahead and make it 3 seconds. So 60L. Whoop, L. So just like that. Now it'll take 3 seconds before it'll broadcast the message, the first message. So I was doing my final checks to make sure everything was working and that I didn't miss anything else for the video, and I found out, or I realized that none of the settings are even being loaded into the plugin. I mean, we made this beautiful method here, load settings, but it's never even being called. So if we go back to the main class and we add that here, it should fix another issue with the settings never updating. Load settings. There we go. And now we can export and test it out. So I went ahead and changed log to console to true in the config file before the server started up, and I saved it. And so now if we go ahead and copy this into our server directory in the plugins folder right there, and we reload, actually would have to start and stop to actually test this, but since I already did it before, it's good. You should be seeing the messages being broadcasted there. Now as you can see in the game, the reload has completed and the messages have already began to be broadcasted. Why is it not broadcasting to the console? So let's take a look into that. So if we go ahead and stop the server and go into the code, let's go ahead and look in where it's checking it. So if list.isLog to console, looks fine, right? But wait a minute. If we go back into the config, each list doesn't have an option to be logged to the console. So actually, I was going crazy and put that there. Now this is going to be a little homework for you guys. I don't know if you guys actually want to do this, but just for fun, why don't you add the functionality to enable or disable the logging of lists for each list? So basically what I mean is add this to each list and have the plugin load that also for each list, and you can just get rid of this one. Or maybe you could leave this on for a global value. Go ahead and try that and see if you can get that done. Anyways, the real way we should be doing this is message API dot is log to console. Like that. Now if we export and test it out, it should work. So now we're just starting up the server to see if it works and log into the server. And not only can you see that it's being broadcasted to the console, it is also being broadcasted in the game. So that is 100% completely successful, kind of, except for it's more like 90%. Because if you go over here and look at the console, it's not being parsed out. Like, we should probably remove these color code symbols and have this /n being parsed. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to include that in this video, as it's a new topic and that should be covered in another tutorial, but I will make a video on that. Anyways, so the console message is successful, and the next thing we need to make sure we fix is, I just thought of it, is the enabled is never even being checked. If you don't remember what the enabled is, it's the settings.enabled value. It's never being used. So if we just go to automessage example, and we do bucket, no, what was I doing? If message API dot is enabled, and if it's enabled, we are going to load the list and start the tasks. And that will work. But other than that, that is it for this series, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how I'm doing. The source files will be in the description on all of the videos. I'll upload it right after this video. It's going to be the full sources. It won't be parts of it. I should start doing that and save it after each video. But I didn't do that this time, so it won't be like that. For the next series, it will. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Make sure you paste in your code. I don't want to see it in the email as that's painful to read. There will be a website for this channel. Finally, it's in development right now. It's pretty exciting. So when that comes out, there'll be a forum section that you guys can go to specifically for development and this sort of thing. and that will be awesome. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. My name's Kenny, and I will see you guys next time.